Welcome to Cyber Conversations, the show where it's okay to agree to disagree. Today we have our special Halloween Extravaganza, if you can call it that. There's 5 of us here. We got Bob, who has been hosting the DC movies with me, and will continue after this. And then we have Vern, who hosted the show with me when we were doing the Star Wars movies. I want to thank him a lot for being here because he's extremely busy. You won't hear him for about 10, 11 minutes, but he will join us then. We also have Matthew, Bob's son, and Rachel, my daughter. And we don't have... what we're going to do today is talk all things Halloween, whether it's scary movies or funny movies that just remind us of Halloween, movies that we like to watch on Halloween. But today it's me. Bob is here with me, and also Bob's son Matthew and my daughter Rachel.
Say hi.
Hello.
Hi.
So let's start by talking, I guess, about well, you were saying that you have certain movies that you like to watch every year for Halloween.
Well, yeah. So certain
Bob.
movies that we like to watch for Halloween. One of the ones that not on Halloween night, but there's a lead up. I know every streamer has like 12 days of Halloween and 13 days of Halloween and 37,000 days of Halloween. You know, I can think of one of the ones I was thinking of that I like is Tremors. With Tremors is good. Not
It's
quite
a
a horror
great movie.
Rachel,
It's not really
did you see Tremors with Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward.
I tried to show it to you, and I don't think you ever watched it, but you should.
It's classic.
Tremors is awesome. They made a few Tremors after that, but you know,
None of them were as good, though.
none of them were as good as that first one. The
first one was-
Tremors movie, and it's not scary. It's
It's a horror comedy, but
Yeah, it's not even that horror, in my opinion. It's
It's kind of like Jaws in a sense, like these creatures they can't see. I know Jaws is a shark, but it's like they just.
she
They're hot-
wouldn't watch Jaws growing
You haven't
up.
seen Jaws either?
She finally watched it a few months ago for the first time. I spent her whole childhood trying to show her Jaws, and she didn't want to watch it because she didn't want to see a shark die.
so what?
I saw it and I still was angry when it died. I felt very upset.
It was eating people.
But what did you think of Jaws? Because that is another good movie that I know will inevitably come up. So what did you think of Jaws?
Yeah, I liked all of it except the end. Like, genuinely, like, no, I'm not joking. The end was just like, come on, why are we treating it like it's an evil shark? There was people in the theater going, oh, that evil shark. You know, it's a monster. It chased them down. I'm like, no, it's a shark. Come on. Kind of
Rachel,
sad.
you're Gen Z, aren't you? No, I'm joking.
Oh.
I'm kidding. I'm joking. Sort of. Well, you know, speaking of Jaws, Josh, do you remember when Jaws 3D came out?
Classic.
Right? Classic.
Banger. I
And
love that
it-
movie.
Dude, it's total fire. That Jaws 3, seeing that in the theater when it was in 3D, and that was the red and blue. You know,
Oh, yeah,
it
that was
wasn't
the old
like
type of
it was the
3D.
old type, but Jaws 3D, watching that now, I'm like, gosh, it's just not as good as seeing it at theater. I mean, how many Jaws movies are there? I mean, there's 4.
There's
We won't talk about
4.
Jaws 4, The Revenge. But, you know, it's kind of a
This
Michael
time it's
Myers, like I
personal.
said. Yeah, my lord. It's like Chief Brody's wife. Ah, that was so bad. But Jaws 1 was just a masterpiece.
Jaws
But
1 is one of my favorite movies ever.
I like Jaws 3 just because it's simple and it's more lighthearted. I don't know. We watched it when we were kids. It was fun because we'd gone to SeaWorld around the time we watched it. And it was just relatable. I'm sure if I watched it now, I haven't watched it in, I don't know, at least 15 years. I'm sure if I watched it now, it probably doesn't look as good or, you know, be as entertaining as it was when I was 10 or 15, 12, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's
But it gives
true.
you all the feels when you watch it. The nostalgia.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Well, I didn't mean to veer from Tremors, but my thing with Jaws is it's a creature you can't really see and you don't know much about, and they're hunting it. That's basically Tremors in a nutshell.
Yeah,
And
but it was a camaraderie with like Fred Ward and Kevin
Yeah.
Bacon's character. I mean, they
Yeah.
were both, you know, the whole town that they put together. It was really good. And then the survivalist was that Reba McEntire and
Mhm.
what's his
Michael
name?
Gross.
Michael Gross, the dad from
Michael Gross
Family Ties.
is so good in it too because, you know, well, you two didn't, but Bob and I think Bob watched Family Ties. I know I did.
Yeah, I watched Family
Michael
Ties.
Gross was the dad. He was a wholesome father figure, and now he's a survivalist, gun-toting, awesome guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I
He's
don't
an
know how
awesome
to
guy.
describe him other than that. But he's one of the best parts of the movie. If it isn't Kevin Bacon, it's Michael Gross.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that couple there. I don't know why, but the part where they're shooting at it from the roof, and Reba yells at him. She's like, "Don't waste the bullets on the elephant gun." I don't know why. That's the only line that really like sticks with me. I thought that was so funny. Anyway,
Other Halloween movies.
Well,
I
Halloween.
know Rachel mentioned one earlier. Scream.
Yes, that's probably my favorite, like in the scarier-ish category.
What do you like about it?
I don't really know. It's so like cheesy. It's like funny. I mean it's really iconic, I guess. Like everyone knows parts of it at least. And yeah, I grew up really loving Billy. So I think that was part of why I kept watching it over and over.
Skeet Ulrich.
Yep. Skeet Ulrich. Yeah, that, Wes Craven came out with, who also made
Nightmare.
Nightmare on Elm Street. The Scream movie, the first one, 1996, I think, that redefined the horror genre. In fact, they were like, "Ooh, Wes Craven's
Oh yeah, it's
redefining."
a seminal movie.
It is. It totally. It was a horror movie that made fun of horror movies. And even though like that was Drew Barrymore's comeback movie, she had done like some B movies and some softcore-ish esque type of stuff, and then suddenly she just that opening scene with she's popping the popcorn. That whole opening scene. So Matthew Lillard, who also played. So he and I were in drama club together and at high school, and he was like 2 years ahead of me. In fact, we took the boys back. We went to Tustin Tiller Days. This was a while ago, and Matthew Lillard happened to be the Grand Marshal. And I went over to the tent. I was like, "Hey, tell Matt Lillard Bob Cerrone's here." And Matt Lillard comes out. He's like, "Bob Cerrone!" And the kids took pictures with him and everything else. But he was a guy, watching him in high school, and he'd deliver some of these monologues for some of the stuff we were doing. And it was the guy, you just knew he was destined to like be in movies. I mean, he was such a stellar actor, and he was a cool guy. But yeah, Scream was just so awesome. Such
Rachel,
a great movie.
is
Very
Scream,
important movie too.
Is
Just
Scream
because it changed the whole landscape of horror movies.
I was just say ask Rachel if that's one she watches every year, or if that's just like on and off. Because there's sometimes movies that you watch too much. It's like that's my annual Halloween movie, and then you get sick of it.
Well, I'm kind of someone that like I celebrate Halloween like all year. So like I have ones that like I get ready for Halloween season.
Mhm.
I would say I watch Scream at least once a year, but it's not always like near Halloween.
Okay, got it.
Just
Okay.
being right now. I have seen it like a lot of times.
Okay,
Nice.
I've not seen Scream, so I've seen the
You've
opener.
never seen
You've
the
never seen
original?
Scream 1?
No, I won't drag
Wow.
you through the mud, Dad. But that's one of those ones where you just play the opener, and then we'd never watch anything past that.
No, it's fine. You can drag me through the mud. That's what podcasts are for. It's also therapy sessions. So just
Yeah.
share your childhood trauma.
I
Okay.
cannot believe you didn't. Well, then again, there were a lot.
No.
Of movies. Now,
You got to
Not for
understand,
nothing.
I was desperate to show my kids movies, right? But I didn't want to show the bad parts. So we'd watch the opener, but we didn't watch the rest of it. And I kind of thought later on,
I'll get there.
yeah. So, I mean, he's going to be almost 30. He can make his own decisions now. Jeez Louise.
I
So-
tried to get her to watch a bunch of movies, and she well, like Jaws was one of them. I have recommended. I didn't want to show it to her myself, but after she moved out, I recommended to her she watch Pulp Fiction, which is also one of my favorite movies of all time. And as far as
yeah.
I know, you've still never watched it.
That's one of Matthew's. That's Matthew's fave, if not top 5.
As I've grown, yeah, I'd probably still put it top 10. It used to be my favorite, and I actually went and watched it back in 2019 in theaters with my wife. I showed her for the first time. She got to see it in theaters. I thought that was really cool for the 25th anniversary at Alamo Draft House, and they did like a whole event. That was super fun. Anyway, Pulp Fiction, classic. You should watch that if
That's
you like Tarantino.
definitely one of my favorite movies. Although I think Fight Club is my favorite.
I wouldn't
So
say-
now that we're back to talking about Halloween movies,
So
Do you watch Pulp Fiction for Halloween? I'm just kidding.
I watch Pulp Fiction I would whenever the mood takes me. I actually have been thinking of watching it again. I don't know if this is cheating, but Halloween.
That's
the
not
series.
cheating at all. Which one?
I love.
There's a lot of
I
them
like. I like the original. I don't know why, but for some reason, of all the different types of horror movies, I've always particularly liked slasher films, and I'm not sure why. A lot of people, I think that it's lesser form of horror movies. A lot of people think that there's other, more interesting types of horror. But I've always enjoyed the slasher movies, and I think it's because there's a clear bad guy. And most horror movies end with the bad guy being stopped, even if it's temporarily, and one or two of the people get away. So I've always liked the Halloween series because of that. And I liked Michael Myers more than, to a degree, more than Jason or Freddy, just because he plays by the rules. Freddy has no rules because he attacks you in your dreams. He can do anything he wants.
Freddy is the best. I'm not saying Michael Myers isn't good, but Freddy, Robert Englund's.
Oh,
come on.
I'm not talking about
all the one-liners and everything.
But what
else,
I'm saying is
Freddy's cool.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that Freddy has no rules. He owns the dreamscape. So he changes the dream to fit whatever he wants. Jason is like a cartoon character. If you've seen Roadrunner cartoons where something changes just because it's off camera, that's how Jason is. He just teleports to the edge of the screen, even though it doesn't make any sense. But Michael he generally plays by the rules. If you want to get away from Michael and you get on a plane and fly to California, he'll walk from Haddonfield to California. He'll keep going, and eventually he'll get there.
Hopefully on Halloween night.
Doesn't Michael teleport at least once in the original movie?
No,
I don't think. No, he doesn't.
No,
he doesn't teleport.
There's like one part where he moves a little bit faster than he probably should have, but it wasn't unrealistic. Where when she runs down the stairs, no, that wasn't it either. He follows her down the stairs. I thought there was one part where he gets outside to the back door a little bit faster than he should have been able to, but he doesn't teleport.
Does it get worse from movie to movie?
No, he never breaks.
I swear he seems just like he has that slasher trope where you run away from him and then suddenly he's in front of you.
No, that's Jason.
I don't know why.
No, that's more Jason.
And I mean, he did that literally in Friday 6. That couple, he sees a couple, they're in the woods having a picnic, and they see him kill an old guy. Then he sees them through the trees. They run in the opposite direction, and they get on a motorcycle. And just as they're about to go, Jason's in front of them with a machete and stabs through them both.
Yeah, that's not fair.
That's why I say it's a Roadrunner cartoon.
That's
not fair.
That affects the suspension of disbelief, doesn't it?
Yeah. Michael Myers is more like
rules. Michael cheats death every single movie.
Yeah.
He cheats death.
That's his one miracle. He doesn't die.
But isn't there an explanation for that?
None of them die.
They haven't. See, that's the thing. We had this discussion with Josh and I on the phone. It's like Michael Myers, they never really talked about him being supernatural. Like, I really liked the 2018 Halloween. I really thought that was good. How they're doing the podcast and everything else. And then she's there and it's like, I think back on Halloween H2O, they started giving Michael a little bit of the connection with Jamie Lee Curtis's character. And she's like, at the very end, it's like, she steals the ambulance because she knows he's not dead yet for whatever reason. And then the ambulance crashes and he's pinned between the tree. And she's like, I love you, Michael. And she reaches out her hand and he reaches out his hand and they touch fingers. And then she hauls back that axe and completely beheads him. I mean, he's done. And then
they retconned it with part 8.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, they keep on bringing him back. But they don't explain, like, with Freddy, where he's like in hell or Jason goes to hell, like if Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
So, but, we were talking.
You got to make that into the cake from the very beginning. You have to, because first of all, when you establish your bad guy as being relentless, the only way to stop him is to kill him. And the only way to make a sequel is if he's still alive. So you have to keep bringing him back to life. And if you bake that into the cake from the beginning, then nobody has to ask the question why.
Matthew, I think it was you, Matthew, who was like, oh, you got to watch this movie called It Follows. and I watched.
I
the
knew
scene
this one was
follow-
going to come up.
I knew it was going to come up, and some people like it. I thought it was. I didn't think it was a bad movie, but I was like,
It was
look,
all
man,
right.
it's a demonic STD. That's what it
Yeah.
is. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like,
But
Yeah.
I went into it completely blind, that one. So like my friends were like, let's go see this movie. And it had good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. And we went to the drive-in, so it was all dark outside. And I'm not a horror movie guy, much of a horror movie guy. We took my car. Mad Max Fury Road was on the next screen over at the drive-in. And I was actually kind of watching that because I was legitimately terrified of the It Follows movie. I was like 19 or 20 when they came out, and I stayed up till 3 a.m. with my lights on until I fell asleep because I was actually scared of that movie. I don't know why. It was just purely psychological. So
That's kind of how I felt with Smile.
Yeah.
see, I didn't see Smile. I didn't see
Right?
Smile.
But it really terrified me when I first saw it because it was like in the theater at night. And like after, I was like, I don't want to see anyone smiling for a week. It would freak me out whenever I did.
See, and I feel like this is my personal thing, and Matthew knows this. And so when I went and saw The Ring, when that came out, like I knew my friend Chris was like, dude, let's go see this movie, The Ring. And I was like, I don't know anything about it. I never saw a trailer for it. I didn't know anything. I watched that movie on the edge of my seat. Did you see The Ring? Did everybody here see The Ring?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Classic.
When she crawls out of the TV at the end, I crawled out of my chair
yeah.
in the theater, and I don't really
Yeah.
get scared by that stuff. And I'm personally of the belief that if you're going to see a horror movie, to truly see it is just barely know anything or
Bro, yes, exactly.
I mean,
If you
that's
want the
really the only
experience-
way. Yeah, if you want
yeah,
the
if you want the
experience of a good
experience,
horror movie.
You don't walk through a haunted house and walk through the walls. Like nobody would want to walk through the ceiling and then look down with a glass floor.
Mhm.
Like you go for the surprise. The scariest movie you've ever seen is mostly because of the way that you saw it. Scariest
Right.
movie I ever saw was Prince of Darkness. And the reason why is because I saw it by myself at 2:00 in the morning with the lights out. And it worked. So it's all psychological. Every one of these, imaginative or grounded slasher stories, there's a huge psychological element to it.
Yeah, and it's hard these days. I mean, with social media, with TikTok, and with Instagram, and with everybody sharing
Yeah.
everything, it's hard to
Self-control.
not. Well,
It's
yeah,
just kinda-
but
yeah, you can learn a lot from a freaking thumbnail. I get pissed off at the spoiler thumbnails. Like, come on, guys. I couldn't even avoid watching your thumbnail scroll by, and you got to spoil it for me.
yeah, that's true. But coming back to what we were talking about, let's talk about the Nightmare on Elm Street series.
It's
Dream
probably
Warriors.
my second favorite horror franchise, right behind Halloween.
It gives me kind of the same feelings that I get with Scream, where it's like, it's very like silly and campy. Like it's not scary, but it's more of like a fun one to watch, I think. I like the ridiculous like gore effects. I love the blood geyser.
The pleasure
No.
of bed.
Oh, when Johnny Depp gets sucked
Johnny
into
Depp's
bed.
moment, yeah.
Yeah.
Horror is very made for the generation that it was made for, So there's a lot of
100%.
classics. Like you can go back and watch classic musicals or classic sci-fis. It doesn't have the same impact as a classic horror. When Nightmare on Elm Street came out, it really did push a lot of envelopes. I remember how shocking and traumatizing it was for the generation that it was made for. At the end of Evil Dead 2, after the end of the world has been chanted into existence, it literally starts raining blood out of the sky.
Which, by the way, leads me to my favorite Halloween movie, which is Army of Darkness.
That is
Okay,
a
cool.
great movie.
Cool, good
That-
pick, good pick, good classic.
Yeah, good. Have you seen that one? Matthew, you've seen it. I know because I show it to you every year since you were born. Rachel,
I
have you
tried
seen
to show
Army
Rachel,
of
and that's
Darkness?
I don't think so.
So
I
they ended up
highly
making
recommend.
a TV show called, was it Ash versus the Evil Dead or whatever? They
Yeah.
had that
Oh,
TV
yeah, yeah.
show for a while. And then I think
'Cause
they
I-
tried to reboot. They tried to make a new Evil Dead, and they tried to make it all serious and everything. And I'm all, dude,
It was good.
Ash running around with a chainsaw hand and
It was not-
delivering the.
Bruce Campbell.
Delivering.
I've seen the one with that. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
The guy with
Army.
the chainsaw on his arm.
His name is
Yeah.
Ash,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah,
played by
Ash.
Bruce Campbell. And I've told you many times how much I love Bruce Campbell.
Then I've seen that, but I only saw it once.
It's really campy. If you look at it with a certain set of eyes, it's way campier than Nightmare on Elm Street or something like that.
Well, and it's one of those ones that it's supposed to be kind of campy, but it is
Exactly.
just so good.
Yeah,
of that movie.
it's a bonkers movie, but it's
Dude, it is.
Well, when you
You
think
know?
about it, how many movies could you name that are? I'm sure you could, but like medieval horror, or I mean, it's not really horror, but medieval. It's got a horror element to it.
it's horror.
There's not
it's
much
comedy horror, but
right, but like he goes back in time, and it's like Knights of the Round Table type of setting.
Yeah.
You don't have a lot of medieval
They're fighting
horror
an
movies,
army of skeletons and
right?
zombies,
But with bows and
it's-
arrows and
It's
Yeah.
just not done in a frightening way. That's also
Right.
Yeah.
Like calling it horror is kind of pushing it, really.
All right, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. Which
Creature
is
features.
no. Well, we'll get there after this.
Okay,
but
okay, good,
I don't
good.
want Rachel to miss her moment. So we're going to talk about Nightmare Before Christmas. Nightmare Before Christmas. Okay, this is like Die Hard. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Yes or no? I don't care what Bruce Willis said. Josh and I established that a while ago. It is a Christmas movie.
It is.
it
a
is
Christmas-
the
However,
Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie. Now,
Bruce is
Nightmare Before Christmas, Halloween movie, Christmas movie, or both A and B?
easy question, easy answer.
Really?
Yes.
Because I think it'll be debated until the end of time. I want Rachel to
Okay.
chime in.
I want to see what we say.
I say it's both. I usually watch it at the beginning of my Halloween season, which is like the end of July. And then I watch it again right after real Halloween for the beginning of Christmas. So like November 1st.
Nice. Kickoff
And then
movie.
you watch it again for Christmas.
November 1st is Christmas.
Okay, so I just want to note that we have 1 out of 5 votes in right now, and the vote is positive that it is a Halloween movie.
It's both.
It is positive that it's a Halloween movie. It's also positive it's a Christmas movie, but we got 1 vote positive it's a Halloween movie. I just want to note that.
Matthew.
Gosh, I mean, I'd be in the same boat that Rachel, that it could be both. I'd probably argue that it leans more towards Christmas. It ends on Christmas. I mean, yeah, the title song is "This Is Halloween," but then like the rest of the movie revolves around him stealing Christmas and making it his own holiday. So, and he becomes Santa Claus. It's like the titular character, Jack Skellington, dresses up as Santa. I could see it argued both ways, but in my mind, I prefer to watch it probably more around Christmas.
I just want to say, Rachel, that I like how you watch it on Halloween and then also as your kickoff. So it's the ending of one good thing and the beginning of another. That's actually a really good idea. And
Yeah.
It is a movie I could watch 2 days in a row.
That
I could
makes
watch
a
it
very
3
special
times.
movie.
It is.
Because,
It is.
I mean, what other movie can you think of like perfectly characterizes 2 different holidays,
Mhm.
Right.
especially back to back, like kicking off the winter season, really? 100% Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween movie. It is a Halloween movie from beginning to end. Even the Christmas scenes are all Halloween scenes. He doesn't dress up as Santa Claus. He dresses up as a skeleton with a red suit. He cackles like a demon as he flies through the sky. He has skeletons pulling his sleigh. Everything he throws down every single chimney is a monster. Every color is drab. I mean, the assault on Christmas is pretty obvious in the movie. I mean, like there's a whole, humans are freaking out that Christmas is under assault, and that is not a good thing. But the movie kind of goes past that, and even Jack's lament in the graveyard is such a Tim Burton moment. Every single part of the vibe and DNA of that movie is a Halloween movie that takes Christmas and pulls it in for storytelling purposes and beats the shit out of it, because Santa Claus is in this movie, but Santa Claus is literally kidnapped, bagged, and tortured and almost killed. That's the closest you get to Santa. So I do respect the idea that it is a Christmas movie, but I am absolutely in the camp that it is, and furthermore, I have 3 kids, and we have watched The Nightmare Before Christmas every single Halloween night after coming home from trick-or-treating.
Yeah, I agree. I think, see, my biggest thing is that as much as I love the movie, I almost never feel like watching it. So I'll go years without watching it.
Dude, you know
I'm gonna
what?
tell
I'm
Tim.
kicking you off this podcast. You butthole.
That's not American, man. What's wrong with
Yeah,
you?
seriously. It's Nightmare Before Christmas.
I'm
Freaking
not saying I
amazing.
don't like it. I love it. I would probably be in the camp that it's both, because if I was going to watch it for either, I would feel like it's appropriate.
Hmm.
I just don't, it's not a movie that springs into mind every year when Halloween is coming up, because I don't think there's any, like, I don't have a go-to. Like, I brought up Halloween before, but I think that's more
Army
just
of
because
Darkness.
of the name.
Army of Darkness.
I don't watch it every year, or every
maybe
year.
you
for
should.
Halloween.
You really don't have a go-to Halloween movie, Josh?
No,
Seems
I
unlike
kind
you.
of changed them. I still remember my very first movie that my first horror movie, because I was a fraidy cat growing up. I was scared of horror movies.
What was your first horror movie, Josh?
The Serpent and the Rainbow.
Yeah.
And
Josh,
I watched it with your dad. I watched it with Bob.
I've not heard of it. This is a movie we'll have to watch.
Is that in the horror category?
Yeah.
I don't
It
think
does
that's in the
fall-
horror category.
It
Really?
falls into the. I didn't think it was scary. We
Yeah,
watched
it's
it.
more
we
like
watched
it
it at
is
my
scary.
house. Apparently,
It's psychological
Yeah,
horror.
you're right. You're right. It is psychologically scary. It's
I'm looking
more of
this up.
I would call it more like a psychedelic thriller. But okay.
it's based on it is based
Horror.
very loosely on a true story
Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
That
That
was
was the first. I mean, I'd seen what some people call horror adjacent movies before that. I mean, I saw RoboCop that year. I didn't come up with that term. I've said this. I don't like name dropping other podcasts because I don't know if I'm supposed to. I love watching Dead Meat with James Janice and the Kill Count. And he's the one who first said, for me at least, I don't know if he coined the phrase, but he's the one who described movies as horror adjacent. So movies that are gory but are not really horror movies, or movies that could have some horror elements in them, but they're not horror movies. Aliens, the sequel. Even though the first Alien is very clearly a horror movie, the second one is much more of an action movie, but he still considered it horror adjacent.
There are some
Um,
visuals in Aliens and in RoboCop that are
Yeah.
worse than half the horror movies out there.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I think it's all about how you establish the atmosphere and ambiance that makes it a horror movie.
Yeah.
That's a whole interesting conversation in and itself.
But in any case, so that's why that year, even though I had seen RoboCop, I still consider Serpent and the Rainbow to be the first horror movie that I sat through.
Well, a guy does get his penis nailed to a chair in that movie.
That's-
Sorry, spoilers.
yeah,
That was the
Well, now
I
I don't have to watch
remember.
it, you know?
They were saying, like, I watched it
it's
with Bob.
Bill Pullman. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
bad.
that was rough to watch.
It's
Just a whole bunch of us that we all grew up together. We went to his place and we watched The Serpent and the Rainbow, and I had never seen it. They had, and they kept telling me about this scene.
That wasn't even the worst scene. It's just the most memorable. That's all.
Yeah, but when the bad guy says, "I want to hear you scream," and he holds the chisel
to his sack.
over his underwear, and
No, dude, was he in underwear? He was naked, I thought.
I
was
think he was naked, but
He was naked.
But
and then he goes,
just
I want to
don't-
hear you scream. And he screams and he goes, not
He-
good enough.
not
And he
good
goes,
enough.
Bam!
Bam! And all of us fell backwards off the couch.
oh my gosh.
So this brings me to something I wanted to talk about is scariest movie you've ever seen. You still feel the, for lack of a better term, PTSD from it today. I will tell my story real quick. Mine is John Carpenter's The Fog, the original. So I watched
Yeah.
John Carpenter's The Fog, and I swear I watched it on Elvira's movie Macabre, right? So I'm watching this thing, and it scared the shit out of me, right? So then I went to my a friend's house, and we spent the night at his house, and I was sleeping on like an army cot right next to the sliding glass door, and we live like 20 minutes from the ocean in SoCal, right? And I shit you not, that night, the fog rolled in and I could see it. I'm laying here staring at that window, waiting for those creatures to come out. I did not sleep that whole night. I was so traumatized by that movie. And even to this
Atmosphere.
day, I can feel that, you still get those feelings when you watch it. What about you guys in terms of like just really when you were a kid?
I know that Rachel has watched a lot of horror movies and is probably more into horror movies than I am. She told me a few months ago that there was one movie that she couldn't get past the opening credits.
This is what I was about to talk about. This
All
is
right, let her talk. I want to hear the story.
I already felt embarrassed because I knew I had to tell this. Well,
It's
I
not
need to
embarrassing.
establish a few things.
Establish.
Last year, right around Halloween, like every day for like the whole week, I was watching a horror movie every night alone at night. And I was like, okay, like I would get scared at things, but I was fine. And let me also say, I was working at a job at that time where I would have to go alone into the scariest, darkest, longest basement you could possibly imagine, like dingy, dark, alone every day and a night. And I put on for my horror movie of that night, Long Legs. And
gosh.
I watched the intro, and by the time the like title screen came up, I like was shaking out of fear, and like I got up and I walked out of the room and I was like, I can't sit down anymore. I was so terrified. I don't know what it was. There was something about the intro that I was like, I can never pick this up again. I can't do it. And then the next day at work, I was like, I can't go into the basement, guys. I really can't. And I had to. And I was like running. I was so scared for like days afterwards.
And just because of this, right?
Did you ever finish the movie?
No,
Just because of this.
I don't think I ever will. No.
That's great.
Everyone was like, that's the scariest part. I was like, I don't care. That was too much for me.
Yeah.
Even
so
Nicolas
bad.
Cage said that was the darkest movie he's ever filmed, and he would never ever play another serial killer because the way it made him feel to make that movie. So
I do know that there's one horror movie that Rachel will not watch. She thinks that everyone involved in the making of it is twisted and evil.
What is it?
Terrifier.
go.
I was forced to watch that when I didn't want to. And it's disgusting to me. I genuinely think the people that made it should never be allowed near a movie again and should have psychological help.
I think there's several movies that they should never have made. But yeah, I've never saw the Terrifier movies. I know they
Me
made
neither.
what, 2 of them. I know it's that popular.
3.
Art the Clown, or 3.
No, because it's very much like anyone who truly loves that movie. It's like, no, you just want to see women get tortured. That's how I feel. And everyone that I've met that starts getting really enthusiastic and say, oh, it's so amazing. Like when you talk to them about it a little more, they like the scenes where the women are getting tortured.
Well, and I think that brings up a point. That brings up a point where, and we've talked about slasher films and liking slasher films, and I think that there's a difference between making a slasher film like The Terrifier or something like that, right? Where there's a feeling, whether they mean to or not, where it's kind of like a homage to previous slasher films. You know, it's like whether they add a little camp or they add a little, like you're like, gosh, this is like the old school type of, like, I watched a scene from this movie. I have not watched the movie yet, but it came across my Instagram reels for this movie called Thanksgiving, which is a horror movie. And did you see it? Have you watched it?
Well, you know, it's based on the fake trailer that came out with, what was the movie called? Grindhouse.
No, yeah, that's right. That's right. It was. And Thanksgiving. And I saw this one scene where he cooks the guy like the turkey. And I was like, what the hell is this? And it's hard because I'm like, is this AI? I don't even know, right? I'm looking for like the Sora stamp on it. And it wasn't. And I'm looking it up and I'm like, 83% on Rotten Tomatoes, like 90% audience score. I'm like, wow. And they're making a second one, apparently. I'm like, I kind of want to watch it. Vern, what about you?
Oh, that's right. Well, that's the actual conversation happening.
I took my ADHD medicine, so I'll keep us on track.
That's all right. That's all right. I can't sit through torture. I think the old, I mean, we're talking about horror, so it I'm dancing on thin ice here, but the whole be careful, little eyes, what you see, you can't unsee things that you see. And I love watching imaginative things do imaginative things to people, but like, I'll handle a little bit of torture in a scene, but if it's going to be like an ongoing drug out thing, or if it's going to repeat itself over and over, or if it's like the whole main point of the movie, I wouldn't even be interested. So that's like a whole genre, perhaps a whole genre of horror that I might not even be able to comment on. But like, I agree, Rachel. Like, I think that there's a bit of mental delirium to wanting to subject yourself to that, much less wanting to create it, much less it becoming a very popular thing where everybody just loves it so much. I don't even get that. But to answer your question,
yeah.
I think that again, ambiance is everything. It's our age, Rachel I just found out Longlegs was from 2024. I haven't seen it yet. So this recently happened. So she's right at that age where I think we can all remember that movie that we saw under the right circumstances, and it was traumatized forever. So for me, it was Prince of Darkness for that very reason. In fact, we just saw it again. We're trying to pack as many movies as we can this Halloween season because we always regret how many we didn't see. And we just saw John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness 4 days ago, and it really holds up well. I love that. I love how he fused faith and science in there. There's something happening, and it's from the ancient world, and the religious people knew about it, and they were protecting it, but it kind of grew into this lie, and science is like starting to sniff it out, and now they have like the instrumentation to tell what it is, and there's like a traveler from the future that's beaming dream signals backwards to warn people that this impending thing is about to happen. They got this really badass prop in the basement that I still can't figure out how it was made, but it looks like something from Atlantis, and it's housing something that is pure evil. And there's some practical effects and stuff that are just really well done and spooky.
Yeah.
I have to mention Cabin in the Woods. I mean, that is probably my all-time favorite horror movie.
Yeah, Cabin in the Woods.
There's something about the Eldritch Lovecraftian angle that is always going to get my attention in any movie, even if it's a surprise twist at the end.
Matthew, what's a movie that's traumatized you?
Well, we kind of already talked about that one. It Follows. I know that's kind of a silly choice. A lot of people that see it are like, that wasn't scary. I explained why it was scary to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a huge horror movie guy. I'm more of a Halloween movie guy, not wanting to beat the dead horse of It Follows because the premise is simple, and I already said why I found it to be scary and terrifying. Some of my more recent favorite Halloween movies that I enjoy watching is the Fear Street trilogy on Netflix. I thought that, not scary in the slightest, but that was just a very well done series.
I was like really surprised at how good that was.
I was going to say that.
So good. That was really good.
One of the scariest movie watching experiences I've had, super terrifying of a movie if you watch it during the daytime, is probably the first 3 Paranormal Activity movies. And I actually went and saw the third one in theaters, and that was just a really cool movie going experience. Everybody was scared, but everybody knew what they were in for. And the final 20-30 minutes of the film, where it's suddenly revealed that the grandma is part of this witch coven, the mom and the dad were escaping the demons, and they find out that they just walked into a trap. Spoilers. It's 13 years old, so hopefully you've seen it at this point. But just the ending of that movie was fantastic. I was scared when I saw it, but looking back on it, it's just an entertaining movie. Those first 3 were just really well done as found footage films, especially the first one on such a low budget truly evokes kind of that demonic horror aspect of it that a lot of movies try for, don't really do that well. Another good one that does that well is The Witch by Robert Eggers. Fantastic movie. Not really horror.
Witch.
Anyway,
I got to see that. I appreciate the recommendation. I've never.
It was done really well.
That was his first movie.
The Lighthouse.
Yes.
He's very into authenticity, so he built the sets. It's
they thatched the roof like the old school way.
Puritan, right?
Puritan,
old school Puritan, and everything is done. Ambient light, no lighting effects. It's all real.
And the bad guy's not revealed till the end. Just all this crazy crap happens to this poor family after they're rejected from a church. Just a great movie. Not scary at all, but good suspense, good build-up.
Oh, I see. A good movie, not a good horror movie.
Yeah, it's not scary.
Movie.
I guess
okay.
It's thriller.
Yeah. It's thriller. It's suspense.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd probably have to toss in Paranormal Activity. The first 3, I didn't watch anything past that, as some of the scarier movies I've seen.
The found footage genre was dominant for about 10 years. Starting with Blair Witch.
Starting with Blair Witch.
Yeah,
I've not seen Blair Witch.
When I was working at, I'm going to date myself here. When I was working at Hollywood Video, we would go to Las Vegas every year for a convention. And the 2 guys who made the Blair Witch came and talked about the movie and how they made it. And they showed us, before the behind the scenes had come out, they showed us behind the scenes, and it was no script. They used little 35 millimeter, remember the black 35 millimeter film canisters with the gray tops? They'd leave those at certain points. and like the symbols hanging in the trees, they did that while they were sleeping, and they had to come out and react to them. I mean, it was like really, and then everybody tried to duplicate it after that, and it was just rare to really be able to find some success after that.
Well,
But,
when you go back, maybe it's just my opinion, but when you go back, I think Blair Witch is kind of stupid. But at the time, we weren't ready for it. Nobody had ever seen anything like that before.
Right.
And it was, I think that what you have in the Blair Witch is that suspension of disbelief, where if you didn't see it coming, if it hadn't already become a tired genre for 10 years, when
Right.
it was new and fresh to the world, it felt like it was real found footage. Nobody knew what found footage movie was at that point.
Everybody here in Arizona, so they only played it at the Arizona Mills Mall, and they were sold out for weeks. And everybody, I mean, the marketing is really what did that one too. You had the missing posters were the movie posters, but literally everybody I talked to was like, "No, man, that's real footage." Like everybody thought legitimately it was real because, like you said, that genre that was non-existent. A found footage horror film was non-existent, and I was like, why would the police let them use this footage to make a movie out of it? Like, I was like, what the heck is going on? And then they're making
power of urban myth, though.
Oh, totally, 100%. It's rare to see those types of things come along, but those guys laughed all the way to the bank. So
yeah, they did.
What are you going to do?
Did. Well, and then Hollywood got their they got Hollywood's attention, because if you could produce a movie for $25,000 and then turn around and make $68 million on it, that's what executives are looking for.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which, by the way, did not only launch the found footage craze, it also launched the reality TV phase, because people realized that, execs realized that we don't have to write a script. We just put a bunch of idiots in a yard and shoot them, and we got a show. Yeah, you guys think that Cloverfield is a horror movie?
It's horror adjacent.
Yeah,
horror adjacent. Okay,
I'd say it's more sci-fi ish.
Well, no, because
that's
that
like
scene where they take the girl into the hospital medical tent and they shove her behind a thing, and she just
her head blows up.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh my gosh!" And then they run out. That was pretty spooky.
They spend a whole scene running through dark sewage tunnels, being chased by 4-foot-long beetles.
Yeah. It reminds me of
scary.
When I went to the theater and I saw Event Horizon. Like, it didn't, to me anyway, because I watched the trailers. It did not get billed. And to me, it was not presented as a horror movie. So I thought I was going in to see a sci-fi. It was very much horror with a little bit of sci-fi, and that threw me off. And I really didn't like it.
It actually felt like almost like a sci-fi version of Prince of Darkness.
Yeah.
I felt like a lot of it was the same.
It's been so long since I've seen Prince of Darkness. I keep on messing that one. I keep on thinking of Fright Night.
It was a good movie,
different.
but not scary.
So Prince of Darkness is also John Carpenter.
Yeah, I know.
John Carpenter is like the inspiration for a lot of our modern horror today. Also, did you know that he did most of his music in those movies too? That's why they all sort of droning, repetitive.
He's the one who invented the
soundtracks.
Halloween theme that I love so much.
His themes are relentless, and even more importantly, I think they're pop culture icons. Like with he wasn't even a musician, and he wrote music that we all know. They're household names now.
Yeah. Well, John Carpenter is also the one who made the movie that, if you're going to ask me what my scariest time was, I have two, but one of them is a John Carpenter movie.
Which one?
So the first one was actually when I was very young. I'm a little embarrassed, but the scariest thing when I was a very young kid, before I watched horror movies, The Dark Crystal. The scene with the Emperor.
That's not even a horror movie, man.
No, I was 9.
Got some traumatic moments though.
For a child,
when I was 9.
Yeah,
the Emperor going mine, and he grabs the cane or the scepter.
If we're gonna go down that road, then Return to Oz with the Wheelers coming in.
Oh, come on,
that
is nightmare fuel.
AF.
That is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen in my life.
But dark fantasy like that it's dark fantasy for a reason. It's got some of that horror element to it.
There are certain movies that I would give anything to be a fly on the wall at the executive meeting where they have a screening for the first time. And one of them is Return to Oz. I would love to be there and see a bunch of Disney executives who thought they were going to get a sequel to Judy Garland's Wizard of Oz. And instead they got one of the scariest movies ever committed to celluloid.
By the way, speaking of Disney, I just wanted to point this out is I think they just did this week or they're about to. Disney is finally putting Something Wicked This Way Comes on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah,
Which
Yeah, I
is
heard about that.
considered hands down the scariest Disney movie. I disagree. I think the scariest Disney movie is Watcher in the Woods.
I was waiting for you to talk.
I knew you were going to know your way to. Did you ever see that, Rachel? Watcher in the Woods? Oh,
Never seen it.
You honestly, no joke. I know I've known you for literally now an hour and 17 minutes, but Watcher in the Woods was really, really good. Not a horror movie, but it feels that way. It's just more like it plays with your brain. For anybody listening, if you haven't seen Something Wicked This Way Comes, it's apparently on
It is a
Disney
good
Plus,
movie.
and it is like it's like literally the scariest Disney movie ever made. Like they really kind of kept it in the background. I know you could still, I think, at least buy it, but they've vaulted
Scarier
it
than
so
the
many
Black
times.
Cauldron?
The Black
Scary.
Cauldron was good, but not scary at all.
The Black
It was
Cauldron.
alright.
Watcher in the Woods.
Yeah.
I'll have to
That's-
watch for that.
You ever seen Watcher in the Woods?
I've never seen it.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
I'm gonna have
It's
to
got
see it.
a Watcher in the Woods gives me Poltergeist vibes.
Like Poltergeist vibes.
It's kind of that extra dimensional horror.
Cool. Love it.
Um,
We
Disney
all seen
movie.
Poltergeist.
Wow.
You've seen Poltergeist, right?
The
Right, Rachel, you've seen Poltergeist?
all the
The
sequels
original?
and the new one.
Your dad is failing as a dad, so
I've seen so many like random things, but you're just bringing up so many that I haven't seen.
Well,
they're
Poltergeist
just
is good.
Poltergeist
Well, the
is
other-
a Steven Spielberg classic.
The other
Yeah.
movie, and I don't think Rachel's seen this either, but the other movie that really freaked me out, and it's not as scary now because I've seen it so many times, but when I first saw it, I had no idea what it was, and that's why it got me, and it was John Carpenter's The Thing.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, The Thing.
When you don't know what's coming, that
Yeah.
movie will freak you out.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't seen that, have you, Rachel?
No.
That's your
I-
assignment. If you want to see a
So,
scary movie,
so if you want to go back to the 80s and find out like if all those labeled movies made for old people were actually scary, go ahead and tempt yourself with The Thing.
Yeah,
Go
and
ahead and
go
watch it
into
with
it
a second
blind.
person if you want. But don't look into it before you watch it.
I should watch that one.
You'll
I've
come
not seen
away a
that
little
one.
traumatized.
That's classic. Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
So good. He's always good.
So something that I've noticed, and this is something that it could just be me, maybe, but I think that I have started to view horror movies very differently as I've gotten older, and I think that when we talk about aging, we always talk about the physical things that are going to happen to us, but no one ever talks about how we view the world. And I think something that happened that I started liking horror movies less, because it used to be when I was young, I could watch a movie, I could watch a movie like Friday the 13th and just be looking forward to the next creative death, because it was all in good fun. And now I watch them and I start feeling bad for the victims, and it makes me want to watch it less. I don't know if it's just me or if that's something that everyone goes through, but it really came clear when I was watching In a Violent Nature, because that's a lot like a Friday the 13th. If you haven't seen it, it's a lot like watching a Friday the 13th movie from Jason's point of view. You're behind the killer, and it's a walking simulator. He's walking from place to place and then killing a bunch of people. Maybe one of the biggest differences is that these are realistic people rather than the stereotypes that you see. Jason is always killing people that you really don't care about because they're awful people, or they're teenagers who are, only interested in drinking and having sex. These were realistic people. So the brutal way that they get killed, it made me feel bad for the victims.
You're talking about a
And-
game?
Huh? No, it's a
You're
movie.
talking about a game? It is a
It's
movie.
an indie,
It's a
an
movie.
indie movie.
It's an indie movie where the entire thing is shot over the shoulder of the killer.
It's not over the shoulder, but it's, for lack of a better, but basically the killer's point of view. And
That's kind of
follows
a-
him.
It's kind of
So
like
a lot of
man-
people think it's a very boring movie because a lot of it is very slow, just following him. I think at one point, it's been a while since I've seen it, but at one point he walks into a lake because one of the victims is there, and it follows him walking underwater.
Well, I feel
Well,
kind of like how you do about like how I've kind of changed watching things. Like for me, the worst one was American Horror Story. I used to love that show
Mm.
and I watched it in like middle school and it did not bother me whatsoever. And then like last year I tried to watch Hotel, the season Hotel,
hmm
and like I really couldn't, like it was bothering me. It's not so much like I just felt bad watching like the victims die as like having more like experiences, just some of the really brutal scenes like you see them going through. Like I was like way more affected, like knowing how brutal it really is than when I was like a seventh grader and I'm just like, oh, it's just a show.
Well, yeah, it's kind of a, I don't want to say knowledge is power type of thing, but yeah, as you grow, grow older and you experience more life and you learn to discern what those things are. Yeah, I've noticed too. It actually kind of it made me think about how some of the horror movies now, especially the psychological ones that really like play with your mind, really are based off of. I think they really play to a lot of people's traumas, personal traumas.
sure.
And when we live in a society now where like mental illness is like all over the place, and we, like, I used to think it was bad back in like the early 2000s where we labeled, oh, that now has a label, that has now has a label, but like everybody's got something. I mean, everybody pretty much either gets diagnosed or self-diagnoses or whatever, but bottom line is a lot of people have been very open, with social media and stuff about what they go through. And I think some of these horror movies, it's like they'll play to that, and amplify that
Sure.
particular trauma.
Well, if you think about it,
Um,
there's a whole genre of horror movies to address every single human phobia that we know. I mean, if
Sure.
you are afraid of heights, if you're afraid of sharks, if you're afraid of water, if you're afraid of spiders, it does, there's snakes movies, there's bats movies, there's clown movies. And so, yeah, of course we play. I mean, that's horror is a strange genre in the sense that if we go to the grocery store, we're getting good food for our bodies. If we go to the movies, oftentimes, most of the time, we're trying to watch something that's fun, something that maybe is inspiring, maybe something educational. But horror is the only genre where we ask to be tortured, where we ask to feel the fight or flight instinct, which is something that is typically associated with near death experiences and death experiences.
100%.
Evolutionarily speaking, So
Right.
horror is the one genre where, and this is like goes back to what we were saying before about how it's all about ambiance. It's how you set yourself up. If you really want to see a good horror movie, don't watch it on the bus in broad daylight on your phone on the way home with your headphones on. Like set
Or
it
maybe
up.
that is the good time to watch it. If you know you're going to be too scared.
If you're watching a movie about scary things going on a bus and you watch it on your phone with your headphones on a bus at night, you set yourself up really well, but you have to set it up so that you are going to be scared because like I know a few people that just don't like being scared. And like my daughter, like she doesn't understand horror movies in general because like she doesn't understand why anybody would want to see something horrific and then have a fight or flight reaction to it
Mm-mm.
by virtue of their own free will, by their desire. She doesn't get that. I understand that. It's a little robotic and not very fun, but I totally understand that. With horror, we actually ask to be hurt. We ask to be put in danger.
100%. And I think, yeah. And what Josh is saying is that as you get older,
Yes.
that
Ties in.
you're like, you know what? I don't need to see that anymore. Or like I've lived that,
Yeah.
or I don't want to see,
Yeah. I have
it's
an
not even
analogy.
about the gore. I think that it's not even about the gore. I mean, I think we can all handle the
No.
gore, especially
No,
as
I
we
don't
get
think
older.
so.
I think what it is it's the situations themselves. And again, I personally think it's more the psychological aspect that the actors go through during
Yeah.
the movie.
And so I think maybe one of the things you have to consider is as we get older, one of the things that makes a horror movie is a suspension of disbelief. And the suspension of disbelief is often rooted in ignorance, which is why we have so much more fun when we're kids. We don't
Yeah.
quite understand how the world works. So there's that dark zone where monsters live. And then as we get older, like I've spent my whole life studying special effects, practical effects, latex effects, robotic effects, that kind of thing. And I got to admit, even when I try to focus on the fantasy of the movie so that I can get scared, that lifetime of study has sort of robs me of the ability to have that suspension of disbelief and really see the monster in the thing as a monster. Instead, I'm looking at it like, oh wow, they shot that backwards. You know, it'll throw you out of the illusion, and without the illusion, you're not scared.
Vern, you wanted to bring up something.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of the thing, I wanted to, before we finish the conversation, I wanted to talk about highly imaginative horror movies. That's probably my favorite genre. I'm an artist. I'm a professional artist. And so when I watch a scary story, I want to see something that I've never imagined before. I want to see something that pushes the limit of my perception of reality, which is why I love Lovecraftian things so much. And so there's a lot of, honestly, I think slasher movies hold a really heavy slice of that pie, but I would be willing to bet that if we break it down, more than 50% of all horror movies are imaginative horror movies, in the sense that that's a monster you've never seen before doing a thing you've never seen before.
Right.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I would introduce is In the Mouth of Madness. Talk about another movie that traumatized me. I saw that in the movie theater. Have you guys ever seen In the Mouth of Madness?
I've seen it. I didn't see it in the movie theater, but I have seen it. Yeah.
So you can imagine the way it ends. Like, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but the way it ends, like the guy in the movie is in a movie theater going insane, watching the same movie that you are watching.
Right.
And it literally makes sense in the movie. You have to understand how it ends. But I walked out of that theater questioning reality. Yeah. It had a profound effect on me. And I loved it, because that's kind of what I've signed up for when I went into a horror movie, you know. Right. To this day, I still love that movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's more like an artistic sense of horror is what you're getting at?
Not necessarily. Pumpkinhead is an imaginative horror movie. Alien is an imaginative horror movie.
Yeah, I was going to say Alien.
Behind the xenomorph, that thing has become a cultural icon.
Right.
You know? And it's not just the creature. It's everything, like the fact that it has concentrated molecular acid for blood, the fact that it goes through a life cycle that we kind of relate to, but it's totally alien and totally invasive. You have this creature with like a sexual organ coming out of the inside of it. It looks like a spider, and it grabs onto your head and shoves this thing down your throat. I mean, that's horrific and deeply imaginative at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Rachel, jump in. I could tell you're like chomping right there.
I think this would fit. And I think this is like probably going to be the best movie of like my generation too. The Substance, I think, is a very like creative way for them to tell like a strong message, very clear message, you know, tell, I think, is a very like important story, and then still make it really entertaining. You know, they didn't take it to a place where it's not fun to watch or that it's like depressing the whole time. I love that movie so much. And to me, that is such a creative concept. Like, I never would have thought of that idea. But then when you look at it, it's like such a good like allegory for like how people, especially women, how women are treated in Hollywood, you know, the ageism and how they're pushed out. And I mean, Demi Moore did so amazing. That was like the role for her. She was perfect in it. I think.
Which movie was it?
The Substance.
Oh, I saw that was it on HBO Max?
Yeah.
It's like I think Clayface concept.
I feel like
I haven't watched it.
I feel like I should have thought of that when I was talking about, you know, my own thing, because this kind of skirts the line between what Vern was talking about and what Vern is talking about and what I was talking about. A movie that's very imaginative, but also deals with aging, because that's what the movie is about.
Yeah, and that's
a fantastic movie.
And that also brings that was kind of the point I was trying to make earlier when you were talking about, Josh, when you were talking about movies where like, oh, how do horror movies affect me now? It's like there's a movie that you could relate to. You know, that maybe some people would have some trouble watching, but at the same time, it's like Rachel said, it's like a real issue, but they wrap it in an imaginative story that still makes it relatable.
Yeah.
Well, like, let me say, even though I'm about to be 23, you know, I already feel like the effects of that of like aging. Like a lot of people I know my age are getting Botox, you know. I feel
Nice.
pressure to like, I'm like, I feel like I should start. Everyone's like, start early. Start on your like, you know, weight loss, you know, shots. Get everything done now so you don't regret it
Dang.
later.
Wow.
At early 20s, people I know
That's real.
and watching that movie, I was like, I could feel like her pain. And with the acting, I think she like brought it. Like she was so amazing.
I'm gonna have to watch that
I've
because I
heard
keep
good
seeing
things.
it. Yeah, I keep seeing it like number 1 or number 2 on HBO. I'm pretty sure it's HBO Max.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
I have to
And
watch it.
It gives you kind of a new perspective, I would say, since it is like a little bit probably more relatable for women, but it gives I definitely for men too. But
Yeah.
probably women would see it immediately more. And
Oh, I agree.
I laughed because I see Vern's white dog walking in behind him, and I'm waiting for it to like sprout tentacles and like go all like the thing. And I'm like, we're talking about this, and it's just I see him walk in. Totally gonna AI that in there. I'm gonna do that. But
I should have thought.
anyway,
Another really imaginative movie that came out in the last 20 years is Pulse. Have you ever seen that? There's
I heard of it. I didn't see it.
it's about creatures from aliens, ghosts, demons, don't know what they are, from another dimension, and they're trying to communicate with people through electromagnetic frequencies, and so they're like coming through on email and radio.
I remember that one,
and it's like the whole thing is presented like Matrixy, where there's like this thin veil between our reality and this other reality, and this other reality is full of these hungry beings that just want to come in to consume what we have. And it's very imaginative and atmospheric, and I think I would definitely put it in the horror category if you were watching it in the dark.
There's also a really good, this is definitely not a horror movie, but has some scary stuff in it and is extremely imaginative, but also a great movie, Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh yeah,
I was thinking about that
if
one.
you can handle the subtitles, absolutely.
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro.
I have mixed thoughts on the subtitles because I know he wanted it to be authentic and he wanted it to be in Spanish. He feels like that's important. So that's why there's no English dub version. It's all Spanish with subtitles. And if you don't speak Spanish, you got to watch it with subtitles. But at the same time, the subtitles are distracting because I want to watch what's happening on the screen. I don't want to be reading it.
Exactly why I would prefer not to read subtitles. I love reading. I just want to see what's going on in the movie, especially with animation. I cannot do anime with subs. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I need to see the animation, and I'm not going to spend my whole time reading.
Yeah. So
I love Demon Slayer. Just putting it out there. And I will be going to the second time I'll be going to the sing along for K-pop Demon Hunters this coming weekend for Halloween.
Oh my goodness, amazing.
I took Matthew the last time. Matthew and Mike. Like I've been watching I watched K-pop Demon Hunters like 100 times. It is one of the best movies that's come out in a long. It's definitely best animated movies in a long time. It is so, and the music everybody knows at this point. It's just amazing. And we went, I wanted to see it in the theater. We went, I did the sing along. I was jamming out. The kids were laughing at me, but it's coming out again just for a Halloween weekend. And so everybody needs to go see it because it is awesome.
We should do some kind of big, another show with all of us if you want to talk about anime. Unfortunately, I know nothing about anime because I haven't watched anime in years and I was never really into it. But Rachel loves anime, or she used to. I don't know.
I'll go talk about how old people see anime, Josh.
What are you talking about? I watch anime all the friggin' time. Are you kidding me? And not the hentai stuff, like the good stuff on Crunchyroll and stuff like that.
I remember just when I was a teenager, Jester was the one who told me if you want to watch a good anime movie, watch Akira.
Akira is classic.
I watched
Robotech. We watched Robotech.
Macross Saga.
Macross Saga. That was 100%.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
I thought it was really boring. And I watched Akira and I didn't understand it.
Yo, Rachel.
A really great horror anime, if you're bringing that up.
Which one?
Several.
Oh, Elfenlied.
Higurashi When They Cry. Very
yeah,
good one.
The nail scene, like literally, I can feel it in my bones. It was awful.
Oh, I love watching Vampire Hunter D.
That one I saw.
Yeah, that one was good.
I haven't seen that one yet.
That was good. Yeah, they still are. They're still doing comic books and graphic novels on that one.
We just watched a mini series on Netflix called Apartment or Housing Complex C or C22, or it's anime. It's got its weird, forgettable name, but it was actually a Lovecraftian story about a couple of kids in an apartment complex, and it's hard to spoil it, but it was definitely a horror. Definitely had some eldritch beings and a mystery excavation going on underneath the housing complex in an end of the world scenario.
Yeah.
Lovecraftian subgenre is just fascinating in general because it has no limits. Like, coming back to that imaginative horror.
Somehow, it's called Housing Complex C. That's it. You'll look out for it. Yeah. Somehow the Lovecraftian genre rings true.
It's just intriguing
in a weird way.
Yeah,
I feel like
it evokes something.
Yeah, exactly. It evokes something primal in us, and I think that suspension of disbelief is the heart and soul of horror. And I think that's what makes it scary.
And it doesn't matter the medium. Like, you could have the anime, you could have a book, you could have a movie or a video game. I mean, the one that comes to mind for me is Bloodborne, Lovecraftian horror as you go further and further. And it's just fascinating to delve into that type of world and level of fiction because it blends reality with, the supernatural in a way that nothing else quite can accomplish. So I like that.
And then we got the zombie genre. We got the full-on sci-fi genre. You've got the mysterious dread of existence genre. This conversation could go on and on.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say
areas of scary movies that we have not covered.
Yeah, I know. Well, well, next year we'll do a 5-part Halloween build-up, or something. But I think let's talk about as we wrap it up here. We'll go through each one of us. Halloween this Friday. All right, as you're finishing trick or treating. Well, we probably won't, but maybe Rachel and Matthew still will go trick or treating. Anyway, as you're opening your candy, the movie that you're going to put on to feel all the Halloween vibes is what? Josh, go.
I hadn't really thought about it. I was probably going to play it by ear, but I could see myself maybe doing back-to-back the 2018 Halloween and then Halloween Kills.
Cool. Rachel, go to on Halloween. Boom, you're going to put it in. You're just going to eat your Reese's Pieces.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
No, I think I need to re-binge a horror show instead. Haunting of Hill House.
Oh, that was such a great show.
Amazing, yes.
That was a great show. God,
I never watched it.
That's not Halloween evening. That's Halloween all day.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you know what? It could be Halloween if you got the time.
That could
Last
make
time
the
I watched
holiday.
it was just all night.
Do it all night long.
The whole
All
night.
night long.
Nice.
I've never watched it, but I have
Eating
seen
candy the whole
reactions
time.
to the scene with Nell in the car because I know that the actresses did not know that they were going to do that.
Yeah.
So authentic.
So I will be watching my usual. Matthew will be here. I'll be watching my usual Army of Darkness, followed by Digimon the movie. I don't care what you say. Digimon the movie is a Halloween movie to me.
Yeah, that is frightening and traumatic.
Well, it's not that. And this is a whole nother topic is because the kids are always like, Dad, why are we watching Digimon? We've always watched Digimon the movie. I'm like, why? I think it's because I don't remember when it came out. I've never looked it up. But we went with some friends. It took to the kids at the theater. And we all really enjoyed it. Like it was a really good movie because we love Digimon, the series, right? But I think we saw it around the Halloween time, and therefore it just gave that vibe. So on Halloween night, it's always Army of Darkness and Digimon the movie for me. Vern, what do you got?
The same thing. I have watched every single Halloween night for the last 20 plus years, and I already said it. Nightmare Before Christmas, the ultimate Halloween movie. At least when you have kids. My kids, my youngest is 17 now. I think this may be the last Halloween because she's going off to college. I've got another kid that's in the Pacific in the Navy, and my oldest is 23, and so. Maybe Halloween is about to change its vibe a little bit, but for one last year, I think, after 2 decades of tradition, it'll have to be Jack Skellington.
Make it memorable.
Although no one has brought up Monster House.
Well,
Monster
again,
House.
again, could be a longer conversation, Josh.
Yeah, I know. I could talk about Scary Godmother for the next
I got a
hour because
long
I
list of
friggin'
favorites.
love the Scary Godmother, the two little mini movies they made. Matthew, what are you going to watch other than Army of Darkness and Digimon at my house?
Well, Digimon, I think you misconstrued that story a little bit. That was my Halloween tradition, not yours. Hate to call you out there, but
Who bought the DVD? I
well,
did.
okay,
'cause you were young.
yeah. But I was the one watching it before school one Halloween, and I was eating bowl of Count Chocula. It's just nostalgic. That's the reason why I consider
That's
it
what I'm
my
saying. Yeah,
Halloween
you have
movie.
those movies that are nostalgic on Halloween for whatever reason.
I
mean, you
think, but for me, I don't know. My in-laws will be in town this whole weekend, so it'll be tough to squeeze something in. And aside from trick or treating, I don't know. We started Casper. I love that movie.
Great movie.
I think that was a lot
Casper's
of fun.
awesome.
Bill
Yeah.
Pullman playing his dad's self like he does in Arachnophobia, and somehow finds himself in a Halloween-esque or horror adventure. So
That's another movie I tried to get Rachel to watch. Did you ever finally
is
watch
classic.
Arachnophobia?
That's a Disney movie.
Oh, I'm not watching Arachnophobia.
It's really good. Anyway,
No.
I'm not surprised.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the streaming services provide. I don't know. Always a safe go-to is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Good. I know that has more.
Which
than
is
just
a Halloween movie.
It is. Yeah, it's got a lot of Halloween vibes. I know it has Christmas at the end, but
Well, in the middle.
lot of fall time vibes with Harry Potter in general. So we'll see. We'll see what that brings. But probably finish up Casper. It's hard to do with a newborn. So watch movies, make time for that.
So on that note, I can't think of anything else to talk about. So I think that's going to wrap up our show. I want to thank wholeheartedly everyone for being here. So that's Matthew, Bob's son, Rachel, my daughter, Vern, who has been on the show many times, and Bob. And thank you all. I couldn't have done this without you. Or I could have, but it would have been me talking to myself,
That is logical.
which is just not nearly as interesting.
No, that's been fun.
But I hope that everyone listening has been enjoying it. If you haven't already, hit like, hit the subscribe button, and subscribe to us. Thank you, everyone. And as always, make tomorrow better than yesterday. Happy Halloween.
May the force be with you.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.